Ladies and gentlemen, we played... No, sorry, we didn't play.
We did not play.
That's not right.
Yeah.
We saw a very, very cool game upcoming on PlayStation, Ghost of Tsushima. It looks very, very cool. And yeah, we got to see
behind closed
doors.
The way this works is that, we see the trailer, obviously, everyone sees that. And then they select special celebrities to go behind closed doors to look at an actual gameplay session, see the game being played so we know how real it is or not. We got the chance to do that, and we wanted to tell you some of the things that the trailer does not show. Can I just say that Ghost of Tsushima is pretty much my #1 most anticipated title at this point.
Oh,
it really is.
Cyber, Anthem.
No. I mean, like, they're not for like forever.
Okay.
And I actually anticipate this more than Anthem for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Cyberpunk, I don't expect to arrive for 2020. I actually expect Ghost of Tsushima to be next year, and of everything that's coming out next year, I'm actually most excited about this. This game looks amazing in my book. It is the Assassin's Creed in Japan that we have been begging for years.
Yeah.
It just looks so fucking cool.
It not only does it look cool, it actually looks just beautiful. Oh my
man.
god! Like just what they showed us was just like wow, and it like the character could sit there, and it did sit there in our closed kind of gameplay thing. Sat there for like 2 minutes, just like looking around
and
we're all like,
"Don't move.
This is cool. We're more than happy to do this."
Yeah.
Like,
we actually had this presentation from their lead cinematics guy,
Yeah.
right? And he told us that the game is very cinema inspired. You know, like it is. He sort of listed off all these old, like, Kurosawa films that he's been watching for inspiration.
Samurai
into this.
7, I think he said.
Seven
like
Samurai.
Seven
yes.
Samurai. Sorry.
Yeah. Yojimbo, all sorts of stuff. Like, he basically said it's a real love letter to Kurosawa films. And the way that they frame shots, and you just get this sense of throughout it that you're watching this like old school Japanese samurai movie, and you didn't have that with the likes of God of War, because people call that a cinematic game, but it's a very actiony sort of, it doesn't have like the way it frames shots isn't as sort of artistic, and as you're playing through this game, it really soaks up its own sense of art.
I was actually going to say, to be honest, that I had some. When I was watching this, I did think of God of War in some moments where the camera pushes you in certain areas to look at a beautiful mountain, or it's just the scenery itself. So this goes very hand in hand in terms of trying to make a cinematic gaming experience that you really look around and go, oh my god, this, the surroundings are beautiful.
But I think he made the point, he didn't say it explicitly, but I feel like cinema is a real inspiration for what this is.
Yeah.
Whereas versus I feel like God of War is like, we're making an action game, and then also we're going to try and make it as cinematic as possible. But this almost feels like a video game that is a love letter to cinema, which is just awesome.
Totally.
So we saw that. So what we saw was the same as what you saw, generally speaking.
Yeah.
But for the fact that, we actually saw someone playing it, and he got to soak in more of the environment more slowly. And the way that he was doing that very often is through photo mode. So you can actually pause the action at any time while you're playing this game, and like take photos of shit, like pan it around, see everything.
Yeah, and I think although we did see the same trailer, but it was just, of course, the gameplay of that mission. He did take moments to just stop the camera, then show some of the mechanics that you probably would have missed, like how the mud affects your whole outfit in combat. And he said, the mud print on you is never going to be the same twice. So it's not just like you fight enough and then it always looks the same. Or the way that certain types of leaves will kind of dance around you when you're actually fighting.
Yeah, there's a fight sequence at the end where the two characters are dueling, and if you watch their feet, you see the way they're kicking up leaves and moving around. It was really impressive.
Yeah, it was.
The combat, though, I think I understood a little bit more, because there's this really awesome, you might remember from the trailer that he's doing this thing where he's facing off against three people, and he's holding his sword, right?
Yeah.
And what I saw when he was playing was that he can actually hold down the triangle button, and that like grabs his sword, and he was holding it down the whole time. And then when the guard was enraged, he released the button, and that was what did like the attack. So I'm assuming that you can like cinematically hold your sword down with the triangle button and choose to release it for the strike, and that was fucking cool.
Because we were lucky enough to actually sit right next to the guy.
And I was watching his control the whole time.
Yeah, that's what I was. I was just like, how's this guy doing?
Look.
And it looks like, it's one of those games also where the combat looks like once you master it, it feels really good. Like it looked like that, and there was a sense of like real mastery to the way that you have to dance around the actual enemy itself and the parry system. And there was all sorts of ways to kind of not only parry out, but also kind of use your body weight to like move
Let them move behind you and absorb it. But also I noticed as well when he's fighting and he's surrounded by enemies, he'll actually like kind of look at other enemies while he's doing it. So he's facing you and getting ready to strike you. But if the other enemy's moving into position, he'll actually look back. And I think it kind of is telling the player, watch out, that guy's about to attack. Yeah. So you watch your own character's head to be able to see that. I thought that was a really nice touch.
Yeah, definitely. So like another important thing that people probably wouldn't have known is the gameplay that they showed in the trailer that they showed was actually not the main story. It was a side quest, and I think that they really wanted to show that and explain that to show that it's this type of game is going to be quite diverse in your experience. Not only are you going to be able to do a full campaign, but you're also going to be able to do side quests to kind of fatten out the lore, to understand the world and where you stand and other characters that have affected your past and all that kind of stuff.
We don't know this yet, but hopefully the side quests remain this quality, because this was a cinematic side quest. It was not like go and fetch me 10 wood.
Now we don't know if that's actually just to show at E3.
Correct.
Or we don't know if that's that's the standard of like what we want to show you to kind of give you more.
Totally.
Who knows?
But it was very encouraging. We also got a bit of an idea about the sort of, I guess, the systemic nature of the game world. Because in one section you can actually attack 3 guards, and there's another one behind a sort of paper screen, and he actually blows a horn, right? And you kill him after that, that's fine. Yeah. And then you begin the duel, right? And in the background you can actually see guards coming. Now, they are responding to the horn that was blown. And if you assassinated that guard before the horn had blown, then that whole sequence, that duel, wouldn't have ended with those guards arriving. It still wouldn't have ended. It still would have ended with you, winning that battle. That doesn't change. But it would have had none of those enemies arriving, which shows that not only are the game's systems adaptive, like attracting guards, but actually the cutscenes that are unfolding will respond to what's going on around you as well.
But to be clear, when he was actually doing his presentation, he did make the point that it's not really an overly choiced game. Yeah. It's really kind of a linear story that you will follow, but there's small bits throughout that will give you a slightly different experience. But don't expect this game to be like a Detroit.
It is not a branching narrative game.
Yeah, it's not like that.
It's not like The Witcher. It's not that.
Yeah, it's not like you do one thing and then it actually changes the total game for you or something. Yeah. Just small little choice changes, really. He also went on to actually talk about what to expect in terms of a progression system. Now, he didn't go into, is it going to be an ability tree? Is it going to be gear that gets upgraded? He didn't even really go into, like, is there a level system? All he did say, though, which I think is important, that we can expect an RPG-style action game.
Yeah. So the question was, from someone in the audience, is this an RPG action game, or is it an action game with RPG elements? And the Sucker Punch guys clearly said this is an action game with RPG elements. So if we think for a parallel example, Assassin's Creed, God of War, these are primarily action games, but then they have things like collectible loot that has some stats on it. The focus is not on the RPG, the focus is on the action, but they do incorporate some of those RPG elements as well. So that was it. That was really all that we learned. But I mean, that's some interesting information in itself. The idea that you've got this systemic world, you've got this photo mode that's in there, which is great. You've got the fact that there's no branching choices, and it's just a set narrative. The way some of the combat works with regards to sheathing and unsheathing your weapon. The fact that the combat is real, like we saw it, and we saw a guy doing it, and it looks really great. All of those things in combination, I think, it's shaping up to be a fantastic title.
Totally.
I'm such a sucker for anything set in Japan, and I'm a sucker for this new Sucker Punch title.
Yeah, oh god.
Ghost of Tsushima, it's coming out next year.
Definitely. And look, for me personally, it feels like it's like a God of War in Japan. Do you feel that? Like,
I think it's an Assassin's Creed in Japan.
Oh, you feel more Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, because it's much more. God of War is so much about the spectacle and the gods and this and that.
The spectacle of this game already, you look at it, you're like, oh my god.
I don't think we would say it's spectacle, it's beauty.
It is very beautiful, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. I don't feel like we'll see this until the end of 2019. I don't feel like it's going to be anything earlier than that.
I'm sure it's a while off.
Yeah, but guys,
I'm very pumped, and
stay tuned.
We'll keep you up to date on more news when it's available.
See you, fam.